I'm going to demo LakeView, which is our free monitoring product for Apache Hudi that will help you observe and optimize your data lakehouse tables. So today we're going to use the pull model to deploy LakeView, which is the easiest way to use it. You'll see it here when you come into the LakeView console. Pull model is option one. And before we get started, let's follow the prerequisite here that says open the LakeView README to create an IAM role or service principal if you're on GCP. Today we'll walk through the AWS example. So I've got the README here, and I'll click here to open the pull model. So it's pretty simple. In the AWS console, I'll just need to create an IAM role. So first I will copy the JSON for the role, and then I will come in and we'll go new role. Here we can use a custom trust policy and just replace this JSON with the one I grabbed from the docs. So what this will do is this is going to reference the ARN so that we can actually pull, give access for LakeView to pull metadata from our data lakehouse tables. I'll click next here and we can skip these additional permissions. We'll get to this later. And I'll say Andy pull model demo. All right, so I'll create this role and we'll grab it because we'll want to reference this later. All right, cool. So now let's go into the UI and we can download our configuration file. So this one is number 13. I'll open that in a second, but first I want to look at the table that I'm going to pull. So I have the table in S3. This is a standard Apache Hudi table. So I've got all my partitions here, and then I've got the Hudi folder, which contains the metadata. So what LakeView is going to do is it's going to get permission just to this Hudi folder, so it can read that metadata to build a bunch of charts and send us notifications that we can use to optimize and monitor our tables. In this case, we're just going to use this one table as the example. All right, so I've downloaded the configuration file now, and I'm going to open this in Sublime. All right. Downloads, here it is. All right, so I've got this here, and what I'm going to do is first we'll set it for AWS. We'll keep version 1 up here, and now I'll put in my AWS region. Let's go check that. This is US West 2. And now I'm going to grab the AWS role that I just created. So if we go back into IAM, we can grab the ARN here, copy that, and I'll put this in here. So path exclusion patterns are the next one. This is, let's say if you want to give a root level bucket and you want to be able to recursively iterate under it and grab all the tables, you could use the path exclusion patterns to exclude certain paths. In this case, we don't need that because we're just going to reference one table. So I'll delete this here. Now we have our lake, and we'll say pull demo Andy lake, and we're going to set up a database. So we'll do the same here. And what this is going to do is it's just going to lay out the data in the Onehouse UI. So lake and database are just ways that we can organize our tables. Now I could put a list of all the base paths for the tables that I want, or even a parent path for a database if it's got several tables underneath that we'll recursively go through. In this case, we just have one table, so I can grab that here. What I'm going to do is copy the S3 URI for the table, and I'll put that into the list. And since we just have one table, we'll put it in one database so we can kill this second database here. So now we've got this. We're going to upload pull model config 13. So now I got to upload my filled in config file. And boom, it's successfully added. All right, so we can close this now. And the next step is we can download an IAM template that LakeView will generate from that config file. All right, so that's number 10 here. And let's open that up just to check it out. So now I've set up word wrap and we can see the policy here. So what do we have? First, we have list bucket. So this will give access to just list all the files in that S3 bucket. And then get object. So this will give us access to actually read the objects. And you can see here, this is limited to the .hoodie folder. So what this will do is it'll make sure that we can only read the .hoodie folder. We're only reading the hoodie table metadata. We're not able to read any of those Parquet files outside of the .hoodie folder. So we've got the template here. I will copy this. And now let's go back into the docs. We've done step 2, 3, and now we're on to 4. We just need to apply this policy to the role. So in the AWS console, it says create inline policy. Let's go back to our role, and I'm here. I can add permission, and let's create the inline policy. And I can go to JSON, delete all this, and just paste in the JSON that LakeView gave me. So now we can name this Andy demo pull policy. And we can see here that it's giving us our limited S3 access. Cool. Now I've created this policy and we're good to go. The 3 steps are done. So now that this is done, it might take up to 6 hours for the table to appear in the UI. What LakeView is going to do is it's going to pull the table and the metadata. All right, so there you have it. Once the metadata is received after the 6 hours or so, you'll see this here, and then you can click in to view all of your tables directly in the LakeView UI.